fault. Okay. Uh, it is. It's been 7 days, a week since Faustin Guaitigo was murdered. It's been 6 days since Jose Gonzalez was shot by the Rockford Police Department. Excuse me. We had the May 30th Alliance hosted a rally and a march outside of City Hall, where I'm at right now, where we're at right now. We hosted a march outside of here, hosted a rally, and then had a march outside of here today. We hosted the rally to try to get community members mobilized and to speak about the police terrorism that was enacted onto the city last weekend. And at that rally, we also spoke about other incidents of police terrorism that have taken place in the city over the past 200 days, basically past 197 days. At the rally, we spoke about the occupation and why we were doing the occupation. At the rally, we also spoke about the murder of the other people who are memorialized here at Say Their Name Square. What up, Ricky? So that's what we had the rally here for. I'm doing this live because I want to make sure that we can. I'm doing my best to explain all the actions that take place throughout the spring and the summer. So again, that was the point of the rally here. Then from the rally, we marched. The purpose, these are my beliefs. Some of these purposes, everybody else, different people may have different ideological beliefs. We marched in the streets, which caused delays in traffic, which caused traffic to be halted and stopped in some instances. And I think that it's important to do that, and it's important for the people who are on the street at that given time, who because of the manner in which Rockford is set up, more than likely probably don't know the names of Faustin Guaitigo and Jose Gonzalez, and don't know the names of Denzel Duvine and Tyrus Jones, and don't know the names of Jovan Fresco and Mikey Sago and all of these different people. What's up, man? What's up? I appreciate that. We appreciate that, for real. I'm trying to get better at looking at the comments. Sometimes I can't look at the comments because I'm trying to just get a thought across, and I'll get lost in the thought. So that's the purpose of stopping traffic and slowing traffic up. That's the purpose of the people that's on those streets at any given time. That's the reason, in my opinion, that portion of the demonstration is important. Another thing that it's important for is, the idea of being in the streets, it's more than just, in my opinion, that's more than just something to say. It's a visual that comes across when you see people in the streets marching. It's something that's a precedent that has been set historically. It reminds people, it awakens the conscious. It's not something that you see every day, especially in a city like Rockford. It's not something that's atypical. So to me, those are multiple reasons of why we march in the streets. Those are multiple reasons and why traffic needs to be stopped. And I think that it's important, while traffic is stopped, that in those moments, people have to decide where they stand on these issues. They have to be in the car with their brother or their sister, and they have to have a conversation about how they feel about what it is that we're out there for. They have to have a conversation, if it's children in the car, they have to have a conversation with their children about why people are walking in the street and why traffic is stopped. And that is a portion of what it is the May 30th Alliance is trying to do. We want to part of the issue is that people do not talk about these things. People don't have conversations about these things. They don't have dialogues about these things. They go unsaid. They go unspoken about. And in Rockford, that has been a tool that's been used so that people can't get justice, and so that people can't get their stories out and their experiences out, because people don't talk about them and people don't have conversations about them. And so when we're marching in traffic and traffic is stopped and cars have to be pulled to the side, or cars have to reverse and go in a different way, it forces the occupants in that car to decide how they feel about police terrorism being enacted on communities in Rockford. How they feel about Faustin Guaitigo being murdered inside of his home. How they feel about Jose Gonzalez being shot while running, and maybe they don't even know the specific people that we out here for, but they know the overall concept and the overall reason that we out here. I noticed that some people in comments on the lives, which I shouldn't look through. I shouldn't look through the comments, but I went through look through the comments. Some of them was kind of the ignorance was funny, but. One of the things some people thought was we were marching for Adam Toledo or for Dante Wright, and it's not that we were not marching for Adam Toledo and Dante Wright. We are marching for everybody who these acts have touched anywhere in the nation, all the families that have been traumatized, anybody that's been traumatized. But specifically, we are marching to raise awareness to Faustin Guaitigo and to Jose Gonzalez because people don't know about them as much as they know about Dante Wright and as much as they know about what happened to Adam Toledo. I say that to say that even if people don't understand exactly who it is or why it is that we are marching, they do understand what the overall issue is, and so it makes them have to confront it. Another reason that I think it's important, those are the reasons I think it's important, to march and to be in the streets. So we marched to the Winnebago County Board Administration building. We marched to the Winnebago County the Winnebago County Administration building because the Winnebago County Sheriff deputies are the law enforcement for Winnebago County. Winnebago County Administration building is where Winnebago County business gets taken care of. We have business with Winnebago County, so we went there. We've been to the jail before. We've been to the courthouse before, and it's not to say that we would never. We went to the courthouse today. Later on in the story, and it's not to say we wouldn't go to the Justice Center or to any of these places where maybe the direct law enforcement is directly there. But it's important that people understand that it's more than just one institution that is the reason for these things happening. There are institutions that protect police departments, that are institutions that protect sheriff departments, institutions that protect corrections officers and protect these private security firms and protect these white supremacists and things like that. And so we have to try to address all of those things. And so we went to the Winnebago County Administration building. For the past 4 days, we have been going to the Winnebago County Administration building and leaving messages in chalk on the around the area, around the building, with Faustin's name on it, written down with different messages that have been in different quotes that have been used throughout this movement throughout years, and different things that were specific to whichever people were writing with the chalk at the time. We did that for 4 days straight. We did it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They washed it away multiple times. The first time we went, they even went as far as to call the Winnebago County deputies to come down to the building. And so I think it's important to point out that this is something that we are doing to make sure that the people who go inside the building at the Winnebago County Administration, the same way we are outside of City Hall, because of, again, in full transparency, because we don't have the numbers to occupy that building and occupy outside of this building, we can't occupy there. But we can go there and we can make sure everybody who works there, who goes in to clock in at 9 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning, sees Faustin Guaitigo's name. And anybody who walks by to go into any of the businesses in that area sees Faustin Guaitigo's name and sees the name of the Brulard, I believe is the name of the deputy that murdered him, and sees messages and sees that the community wants the tapes to be released, and sees that the community is paying attention to these things, and it forces the people who enter into that building to pick a side on where they stand at. It forces the people on that building to pick a side on how they feel about Faustin Guaitigo being murdered. It makes them have to go home, and when they get home, talk to their family about how they feel about people writing in chalk. And again, we have to exist. I believe that we have to wage our revolutionary tactics on the plane in which we exist. And on the plane in which we exist right now, there is not 300 people sitting outside of City Hall along with during the occupation. There's not 200 people or 100 people. And so because we have a small amount of people doing actions, we have to do actions that coordinate with that. But with that being said, it is easier to organize a small amount of people and then to build from that. And so that's what we have to do. We have to, with the understanding that every 2 weeks they're saying they're going to have a press conference giving updates on the investigation into the murder of Faustin Guaitigo and into the shooting of Jose Gonzalez. It becomes our responsibility to make sure that every 2 weeks that pass, we are more organized, we're more mobilized, and we're prepared when the ruling comes down, whether it be justified or unjustified. And historically, there's never been a case that has been unjustified. And so with that being known, we have to make sure that I'm not worried about, and we shouldn't be worried about today having the most numbers that we can have or having the biggest action that we can have. I believe what we should be worried about today is finding core people who agree on the fact that they no longer want police officers to murder people in their home. They no longer want police officers to shoot at people while they are running. And it may be a bunch of other ideological things that they disagree on, but they can agree on those two things. But we can agree on those two things, and we have to form a front on that, and then we have to organize around that, and we have to bring people in. We have to figure out what demonstrations can we do with the amount of people that we have. How can, with the amount of people that we have, how can we spread this message to other places, to other cities? How can we make sure that we start getting people, other people in the area who were willing to go to Waukegan, or willing to go to Kenosha, or willing to go to Ferguson, or willing to go to any of these other places at different points in times? How do we get the message spread to them and get them willing to come to Rockford? How would we get the message spread to them and get them willing to come to Winnebago County? And so I think that's the goal that we have to have. That's what we have to be trying to organize around. That's what we have to be trying to mobilize around. And so anyways, let me get back to what I was saying. So we go to the Winnebago County Administration Building, and we wrote in chalk the messages at the Winnebago County Administration Building. From the Winnebago County Administration Building, we marched over to the Winnebago County Courthouse, where again the same action took place, where it's a police unit called the Scope Team. Officers in the Scope Team have been involved in multiple videos. If almost any video for the past 2 years that you've seen of officers using excessive force on traffic stops, using excessive force on citizens, you can almost guarantee that the Scope Team was the police unit behind those things. Dominic McNeese, the officer who shot Tyrus Jones while he was running away, attempted to kill him while he was running away, he's a member of the Scope Team. Nothing go by real quick. Again, the state's attorney's office is inside of there. And the state's attorney, does not matter who occupies the state's attorney's office. It doesn't matter that Jay Hanley may have only been the state's attorney for the last 4 months. He occupies an office that historically has heaped oppression and heaped exploitation and onto people in this community. So just like it doesn't matter if Tom was the mayor for each one of these people who were killed within Rockford. What matters is that it was a mayor of Rockford when each one of these people were killed. What matters is that it was a state's attorney who occupied the state's attorney's office, who allowed for police officers to face no penalty for the crimes that they've committed to citizens. And so just like he inherits the office of state's attorney, and just like he inherits the paychecks from state's attorney and the prestige of state's attorney, he also inherits the wrongdoings and the oppression and the ills of the state's attorney. He also bears the burden of the things that the office has done and it continues to do to citizens, and allow police officers to do to citizens. And so again, we're outside of the courthouse. Another thing to point out is that the prosecutors who have prosecuted protesters and continue to prosecute people who have protested, prosecutors who continue to wrongfully, it's been two of the last three people who have been shot have been sent to the jail after being shot, and that is in coordination with the state's attorney's office and with the prosecutors who work for the state's attorney's office. And so just like Jay Hanley, being the head of the state's attorney's office, is culpable and liable and responsible, the other people who work for the state's attorney's office and who prosecute on behest of the state's attorney's office are responsible and culpable and liable. And so that's what we went outside of the courthouse for. From the courthouse, we marched back to City Hall, again, marching through traffic and causing, delays in traffic. And again, if anybody needs to, once this live is over with, if you just hopping in at this portion, you can go back and you can listen to my personal ideological beliefs as to why it is important to stop traffic, why it is important that people have to be delayed in going to and fro while the demonstration is taking place. Again, we came back here when we got back to City Hall. Some people again used some of the chalk that we had and continued to write the messages and write the names of victims onto the sidewalk down here at City Hall. As we've done the same in coordination with the Winnebago County Administration Building for multiple days. And so, for anybody who is watching this I think that, maybe, and I'll make a post where I try to maybe write this out a little bit more, or write this out a little bit better. But I think one of the things that we need to try to do this week is, there's been multiple stories coming out about Jose Gonzalez's shooting, multiple stories coming out about Faustin Guaitigo's shooting. I think what we need to do is make sure that we share those things and we hashtag them with justice for Faustin, justice for Jose. We need to share those things. We need to, even in the comments of those things. Like I said, I don't like being in the comments. I think mostly the people who live in those comments are like racist, white supremacists that have done nothing substantial with their life, and unfortunately probably will do nothing substantial with their life. And so they get off feeling like they get attention and a bunch of likes and comments saying derogatory racist things. However, how algorithms work, and this is about, I think transparency is going to be our strongest weapon in this. How algorithms work is the more comments something has, the more shares it has, the more likes and reactions it has, the more often more people will see it. And so what we have to start doing is we have to get into the comments, hashtag it justice for Faustin, hashtag it justice for Jose, and then just bounce out the comments. When you see the story, hashtag justice for Faustin, justice for Jose. Even if you feel like you ain't got the time to click on the R-Star story or the WREX story or the WIFR story, just share it, hashtag it. We got to do the same thing on Twitter, and we got to do the same thing on Instagram. And again, I think it becomes our responsibility, for especially anybody who's paid attention to these news cycles. It was, how people push for Breonna Taylor, and even though again it was no justice, justice was not served. It was not justice. However, it wasn't hidden. I think that's when Emmett Till was murdered, having his casket be open was not going to get that mother justice. It wasn't going to get that community justice, but it was going. What it would allow was for the injustice to not be hidden. And it's power in that. It's power in the injustice not being hidden. And too much of the injustice in Rockford has been hidden. And they've had power in the fact that they've been allowed to continue to do the injustices. And they've had power in the fact that they have not been seen for doing the injustices. And so I think that it's our job now to make it seen. I think seen, and what I 100% believe that we are living in a city and living in a county and living in a time where this issue is a historical precedence, I believe, can be set in this city, because this city deals with police terrorism at an alarming rate for the size of the city, mass incarceration at an alarming rate for the size of the city, racial injustice at an alarming rate for the size of the city, and it goes back years and years. This isn't something that's This isn't like a city where this is something that's just popping up, over the last few years. It might, as crazy as it is that it was 2 shootings in the area in one weekend. It was, we got a poll up here where it was 2 murders in less than, I believe, 5 months here in 2012. There's, I don't think it's a year that's missed on any of these polls. That is something that is exceptional and for all the wrong reasons. So I do think that we can get the light shown onto this city and illuminate these injustices. And from there, I think that can be the beginning and the catalyst and the spark for some true change to happen. So again, go back and find any of the posts that's on the May 30th Alliance page. I encourage anybody that's a graphic designer, if you got friends that's graphic designers, have people draw pictures of Jose, have people draw pictures of Faustin, go back and find other victims and draw pictures of them. We need to do we need to start this week with a full-on campaign for justice for Jose, justice for Faustin, and to get attention onto what's going on, in Rockford, Illinois. It's one of the things that is a saying in the movement, Ku Klux Cops, and I think Rockford, Illinois is the Ku Klux Cop capital. And I think that we need to expose it for being such, and I think that, unfortunately, because statistically and historically, we know that, these shootings will be ruled justified, and we know that because they will be ruled justified, it means there will be more shootings, and more in custody deaths, more wrongful imprisonments, wrongful arrests. Again, it becomes our jobs to organize in preparation for that. It becomes our jobs to be prepared to mobilize in preparation for that. I think that we need to, because of how often these shootings have happened, we have to get to a place where we can, even have groups of people who, when this comes in, you send this message to certain people, and we organize somewhere, we mobilize somewhere, And again, these are all, different tactics that probably certain things best discussed privately. But I want us to get into a place where we're having these conversations, where we're figuring out what can we do to make sure when the next person is killed, that we can start from a stronger base. What is it that what can we do to make sure that when the next person is shot and survives, that we can start from a stronger base? What is it that we can do to make sure that we can exert leverage and exert pressure to have the Fire and Police Commission to hold the chief of police responsible, or to take back the powers from these different commissions? Again, I'm just saying that these are the different things that we need to be organized to be able to cope with. And I believe that the murder of Faustin Guaitigo and the shooting of Jose Gonzalez are a reminder of how important it is for us to begin to become organized, because these things happen so often out here, and they just fly underneath the radar, And so, again, this week, if you see a post about Jose Gonzalez's shooting, about Faustin Guaitigo's shooting, share it. Hashtag Justice for Jose. Hashtag Justice for Faustin. Get on Instagram and go to the May 30th Alliance page. Share the Justice for Faustin and the Justice for Jose post. Make your own posts, make your own pictures. I know people have seen things that have been done in the past for Tamir Rice, and being done right now for Adam Toledo, were done for George Floyd, and these different pictures and these different posts, and that's what we need. We need these different pictures and different posts, and we need people looking into these stories, reading these stories when these news stories come out. Go back and find all of these stories that trace back from a week, and read these stories and look and see how these the police stories change and the information that they give change. And we need to make sure that we are again spending every week that goes by more people know than the week that just passed. So for anybody that's watching, we had the memorial, we had the vigil on Friday. Go to the May 30th Alliance page, and you can find the video for the vigil we had for Faustin Guaitigo, and for in honor of Jovan Fresco, who was murdered 5 years ago to the date yesterday, and it was also his birthday. This young man was murdered on his birthday. His mother, strong black woman, Mrs. Rosie spoke, and she spoke about the power and the strength and that she's had and the endurance that she's had. And then we went, it was Michael Sago's birthday, who was also murdered when he was 16 in 2011 by Winnebago County Sheriff's Deputy Jeff Pope, Jecky. These things can be, looked up online. We got pamphlets if anybody comes down here that we can give to people, but just trying to give a rundown on what we did Friday. So it was his birthday as well. So we celebrated his birthday. Then we did a tour of Say Their Name Square. I'll do anytime we down here at City Hall. So this is where Say Their Name Square at. Say Their Name Square is at. It's down here. You can come down here. This is the memorial we got for Faustin. Please come down here. Leave candles. Leave flowers. Leave balloons. We want this to grow. We want this to be filled up. And so that was what was Friday. Again, today I went over everything that we did today and the purpose and the reason for them earlier in the live. When I end the live, you can go back and watch it. So we want people to come out again tomorrow. And be out. We doing it again the same time, 4 o'clock. We gonna rally here at 4. You don't have to wait till 4. You can come out here at any time. We are out here 24/7. We've been out here 24/7 for 197 days because 198 days ago, Tyrus Jones was attempted to be murdered by the Rockford Police Department. And since we've been out here, Tyrus Jones was attempted to be murdered, was shot multiple times while running. Denzel Duvant, who is on this sign right here. We keep this right here in front of City Hall. His face is beat and battered, as you can see. That happened January 5th, so around day 100. And then now here we are coming up close on day 200, and 2 more people have been shot. And so these are just reminders of why we must stay out here and why we must make sure that, as you can see, like it's people that's going by. When these people walk by here and come down City Hall and come down this area, and these are mostly affluent white people. These are not people who have to usually deal with these issues. We want them to come by and have to look at these memorials. We want them to come by and have to see these balloons here. We want them to come by and see this sign here. We want them to come by and see, What up? How you feeling? Yeah, you being smooth out here? I said, you being safe out here? I already know. I see y'all. Hey, all right. Hey, y'all be safe. All right, man. I love y'all. All right, bro. I'm going to holler at you. And again, you want the people who, it's people who have never had to face these things, never had to face these realities that have been able to only, hear stories or hear secondhand information about these things. And so we want to bring these things to them in person. We want to bring them these things in real life, and not just through the phone, or not just through a news story or a news cycle or a newspaper, And so anytime people come down here to speak, we talk and have conversations with people. It's not a day that goes by where somebody doesn't stop and ask what we're here for, and we don't inform them. Even since Faustin Guaitigo's murder and since Jose Gonzalez's shooting, there have been multiple people who drive through here, ask us about what it is that we doing here, and we speak to them about, it's almost impossible to say all the things we here for, but we speak to them now about Jose Gonzalez being shot and Faustin Guaitigo being murdered. Before that, last week, we used to speak to him about Denzel Duvant being assaulted and beat up. And then before that, we were speaking about Tyrus Jones. And as we've been here, this has evolved and grown because of the amount of people that these issues have touched. I'm getting further and deeper into what I started this live initially for, which was just to try to touch on these specific issues, the police terrorism issues. And so I've went a little bit deeper than that, but it's, again, it's purposeful. I think that we don't have all the answers. I think we're in a place where we're just trying to get people to start asking questions. The problem is that we're not even asking, the community not even asking no questions. It's just, it happened, and these actions happen, and it's, no, it's speak no evil, see no evil, hear no evil. And that only allows us to continue to have evil perpetrated onto us. And so yeah, I'm gonna wrap this live up. I'm gonna just see. I want people to see us. We out here. I want people to see this. We out here. And I don't man, I got a son too, man. I got a 9-year-old son too. Again, I don't know. I don't got the answers. I don't know. It's I think the same thing, like as he getting older and get taller, I know that, and I know that these things become more and more of a reality, and there was a time, where, just being 8, 9 years old, you sending your child, it's still like that in some places, but, sending your child to the store could be a cause for them to be lynched, and we still live in that, we still live in that time. We still do. We do. It looks different. It doesn't happen at the same type of frequency. It doesn't happen with the same type of brutality. But we do live in a time where our children are not coming into a country that is what it claims to be, or to a city that it claims to be. It's coming into, they're coming into a country and a city that will prejudge them, that has already pre-criminalized them and pre-dehumanized them and pre-stigmatized them. And, but I do believe that it is things that we can do to make this reality in this nation, in this world, in this city, make the burden less heavy for them. I think the problem has been in some cities, in some areas where people have just felt like the burden is so great that they might as well not even try to do nothing to deal with it. I think that's one of the problems that we have here, is that it's happened to so many people for so long that they feel like, what's even the point of trying to do something about it? What's the purpose of trying to do something about it? I seen they said it was 1,000 people in Chicago today, and I don't know if it was yesterday or today, after the release of the video for Adam Toledo. And I don't think that's an impossibility, to get to a place where, maybe we don't have 1,000 people, but where we get to a place where because these shootings happen here so often, that when they happen, that people come, and people understand the plight here, and that, we can be a sounding board for smaller cities that deal with these things that, that don't get the same national attention. So I'm gonna wrap this live up because I'm rambling. Come out tomorrow, 4:00 p.m., same place, City Hall. Again, you ain't gotta wait for 4 o'clock. You can come out anytime. We always out here. Justice for Faustin, justice for Jose. We outside.